Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to... Well, yes, literally, welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. We're here at the very beginning of the previous video, because I got an interesting comment saying that if you press Gregson here, and then try to talk to Hairbrain while he's speaking, then something unique happens, like a unique animation that doesn't play anywhere else. So we'll press him here, and at our first opportunity, pursue Hairbrain?
Excuse me!
Professor Hairbrain, are you hiding something from the court? Haha! It's 4! No! God damn it! No! Oh no! And who did that? Oh, it was... Oh my god, it was, Oh, what's his name? The assistant to Gregory Edgeworth. With the cool hair. With a fedora. Oh my god! Eating the paper! No, not this again. What was that? I was calculating the neutralization coefficient of electrical charge required for electrolysis of a human subject. I have to keep the result a secret at all costs, you see. That's why I ate the paper I did my working on. But now I've completely forgotten the number. Dear me, I am a scatterbrain sometimes, but you said it out loud. Well, moments before you ate the paper, you did yell out the number 4. No! You know it? You know my secret coefficient? Now I must eat you! No, he didn't say that. Oh dear. Oh no, this is bad. Oh my goodness. Perhaps you could just focus on the testimony? Oh, that was worth it. Oh, that was so worth it. Thank you, random YouTuber. Oh man. Okay, let's actually load up here the real beginning of this video. Should be this one. Oh my god, the same music's playing. That is trippy. Anyway, previously we got into an odd situation where we had a clear route out of this by saying that our defendant's scientific theories were all bogus, but alas, Ryunosuke seems determined to prove him correct and have absolute unerring faith in his client, so we need to find some other way out of the situation, and to that end, more witnesses have been called. A balloonist who operates hot air balloons, and a small rich child. And also Gregson's still here. Oh, no, Gina's here. Right. I knew it was G something. Anyway, let's start pressing them. It was an incidente terrible. I am only grateful that my balloons were not damaged.
Hold it!
There were 3 balloons flying above the experimentation stage at the time, I understand. See, all 3 of them, my bellissimi bambini. Are those really Italian words? Bellissimi bambini. Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, we live in a world of wonders. Bellissimi bambini. They are very popular, Signor. Some people will pay £10 for one ride. Whoa, that's a lot. £10? That's more than my annual stipend.
£20 a month. That is my pocket money.
Royals have all the luck. I need to de-rust my woodman voice. Oh, it's perfect for this character, though. I got up there for free, I did. Played the old I work for Her Majesty's police card, you know. Detectives have all the luck. If they're so popular, why would you only be operating such a small number of balloons, though? Because if I have too many in the skies, they could crash into each other. The operators for the balloons were decided by lots, with each operator manning a particular area. See, and the zone above public experimentation stage is the most profitable. The other impresarios, they hate me. Thank you, witness. I think the court has a clear picture of the arrangements for the balloon rides at the exhibition. Perhaps we could hear more about what you actually witnessed of the incident. Right. I could fill you in there, my lord. There's this huge bang from the stage, and then the next second, another bang in the sky beside us.
Hold it!
So you actually saw the accident happen from up in the air. Yep. Isn't it amazing what a detective gets to do, eh? I'm telling ya, Odo, being a lawyer's a mug's game. You should join the force and we can go flying together. You know me so well. Yes, well, anyway, could you tell us exactly what you saw, do you think? Everything. We saw everything, 'cause we were up above it all. That dodgy cove climbing into that cage and that dodgy professor pulling all them levers. And that's when it happened. That's when there was that massive bang and the cage disappeared, just like that. You are describing the moment the subject's body was decomposed by the electricity, I believe. No? Oh wait, yeah, I guess decompose would be a word. I think of decomposing as rotting, but decompose as in taking apart the composition, yeah, that works. I didn't know what to make of it, but then there was another bang right in my ear. It's kind of weird to see Gina's animations like this, but she's smiling instead. Usually she frowns a lot. I looked round, and there was a huge great fireball right next to us in the sky, and there was nothing there before. Oh, the kid has something to say.
Excuse me!
Master Gotts, does your memory of the day differ?
My teacher at elementary school said that when you meet someone for the first time, you should always use their full name.
Yes, what was it again?
Wilhelm Gottsrig Sigismund Ormstein.
Just the 4 names, then. The point is, do you have something to say? Something to add in response to Detective Gina Lestrade's last remark, perhaps? Oi, get it right, Otto. It's Inspector Lestrade. Why does everyone have a problem with how I address them at the moment?
That is not what I saw.
Oh?
Yeah, there was a...
My body cannot contain the power that this child emanates. Okay.
Yeah, there was a second explosion, and it was right beside our balloon. That is true. But I'm sure...
Which is what I said, isn't it? 1 minute there was nothing there, the next a massive explosion.
My teacher at elementary school said that when someone else is speaking, if you are rude enough to interrupt, you will have the most awful life imaginable.
Are all Bohemians brought up to be so full of joy?
Just before the second explosion happened next to our balloon, I clearly witnessed a green balloon flying in the sky.
A green balloon? Huh? You what? I never saw nothing like that.
Well, I did. I saw it. And you can't say I didn't. I will complain to the council. I will cry and scream. My testimony is the truth. I am Bohemian Prince. You cannot say it's a lie. That is not allowed.
Playing the bleeding royalty card, are ya? Typical. Says the orphan who likes to remind people she works for Her Majesty's police. In that case, young man, I must ask you to amend your formal testimony. In the interest of cordial national relations between Great Britain and Bohemia. Yeah, I think we need to present the little bit of scrap here. But, we'll still press everything.
It was not the skies that exploded. It was a green balloon that was next to ours at the time.
Hold it!
A green balloon, you say? Are you sure about that?
Of course I am sure. I am a proud Bohemian prince. All these questions are making me boring.
I think you mean bored.
Ah, English is very annoying. The language of my countrymen is far superior.
Ragazzo, it is very wrong to lie.
Lie?
Flying balloons never explode, for the same reason the planets never explode. It is logical. Please tell me that doesn't mean logical.
If you insult me, you insult all of Bohemia.
Madai. What?
I will have the army come and shoot all of your stupid balloons out of the sky. All of them.
Here you are, Your Highness. If only all international incidents were so easily resolved. Now that peaceful relations have been restored here in the courtroom, perhaps we could return to the testimony. Did you also see the moment that the cage materialized, Mr. Loon? No, I did not see the explosion myself. However, the cage, it fell from the sky like a stone and crashed into the crystal tower.
Hold it!
Did you see that actually happen? No, in reality I did not. I saw after it hit the tower. There was a grand confusione around the stage, and I ran to see what had happened. I was terrorized by the idea that one of my balloons had crashed. I suppose they are his livelihood. But when I looked up into the sky, all my precious balloons were still there. I saw it, though. I saw it slam to the tower. After all, I am a detective now. Then tell us what you saw, Inspector Lestrade. That's what I'd like to hear. I didn't get a good look inside the cage, but no one went near it after it crashed into the tower.
Hold it!
Was it you who gave the order to keep people away? Huh? Use your head, Otto. How could it have been me? I was up in a balloon, weren't I? Right. So 'cause I weren't available, it was the boss who had to leg it over there. He was getting shoved and kicked all over by the panicking spectators as he tried to seal off the scene. It was a real sight to behold, I can tell you. Amazing. Poor Inspector Gregson. So anyway, I couldn't see the cage that well because of all the smoke. And I didn't really want to see, to be honest. I was scared out me wits. Keep it together, Inspector. The prosecution really is asserting that the demonstration was genuine. What if it was actually some kind of switch-around trick instead? That would mean that the victim was never actually on the stage in the first place. Yeah. The two explosions would have thrown everyone watching into a panic for sure. I think I need to find out more about what exactly people saw at the time. Right. Oh, gots. Not the sky that exploded, it was a green balloon. Would you recognize this, then?
Objection!
What? Surely something about that last statement seems odd, doesn't it? Would you care to mull over precisely what you find odd about it on your return journey to Japan? I wouldn't be back to give the court an answer for about 4 months, though. Rest assured, we should be happy to carry proceedings forward in your absence, Counsel. Sounds serious. I have to prove my worth before he really does send me back home. Okay, what? A green balloon that was next to ours at the time? Is that what I'm supposed to... Huh? Well... Okay, do I actually... Do I show him that a balloon was in fact damaged? But the problem is I could have presented the green scrap before Gotts clarified his testimony. Well, maybe that because he said it was green, now I can prove, hey, this is green, it's probably from a balloon. Right?
Objection!
Okay. Mr. Loon, in your testimony... Oh my god. Loon as in balloon. Balthazar Balloon. Right? You said that all 3 of the balloons you had operating at the time were undamaged. See, that is correct. If they had been caught in the explosiones, it would have been terrible. Terribile? I wonder if you might know what this is. Ah, I think it may be... See, part of a balloon. A burnt piece of the fabric of the envelope. Sorry, the envelope? Pardon, that is the large round part of the balloon which becomes filled with hot air. It is made from very thick fabric lined with rubber. You do not want it to rip when you are in the sky. Just as I thought. This piece of cloth was found near the experimentation stage. In other words, as Master Gotts testified, a green balloon did indeed explode that day. Huh? If all the balloons in the sky above the experimentation stage belong to you, Mr. Loon, then your statement that they were all undamaged clearly contradicts the evidence. No! If a balloon exploded that day, why didn't the man say so? Maybe everyone on board was killed. Oh no, having just spent 10 whole pounds on the experience, how awful. Seems to me like those things crash 50% of the time. The instantaneous kinesis did occur, but after the explosion on the stage, the point of materialization shifted to a location occupied by a balloon. Causing the balloon to explode? Yes, eminently plausible. An unfortunate traffic accident, as it were, but it changes nothing about the pertinent facts. Oh? Well, do tell, Van Zeeks, if a balloon did pop, what happened to the occupants? Who died there? This I cannot accept. Why not, Mr. Loon? You are suggesting that I am a liar. That person has died in a balloon incidente. There's no need to get fired up, Mr. Loon. The victim was the sole fatality that day. That's right, and I prove it! Balthazar Loon is not a liar. There was no such balloon in the sky. It is non possibile. You're saying it's impossible? Why? This court has more important matters to discuss than the number of balloons that were operating that day. Aye!
Objection!
But we can't ignore the fact that nobody appears to have known anything about this other balloon until now. My lord, the defense calls for further testimony from Mr. Loon. Or if it's Italian, would it be pronounced Lune? As in loony? Maybe not. I concur. There is clearly more to the truth here than meets the eye. It's imperative that we clear up the issue of this phantom balloon, I feel. Witness, you will give supplementary testimony about the balloons you were operating at the exhibition.
Grazie, my lord.
Mr. Loon's balloons.
As I said, Balthazar Loon is no liar. Every balloon I had in the sky landed safely. All 3 of my balloons were carrying passengers. If they fell to the ground in an esplosione, what a catastrophe. But you can't get away from the fact that a burnt-up bit of cloth was found at the scene, can ya? The coppers at the yard reckoned it was probably some debris thrown from the explosion on stage. This stupido ragazzo is mistaken. My balloons have the red and blue zigzag stripes anyway.
But this was the inside rubber, wasn't it? So your assertion is that the balloon this child saw was not one belonging to you?
Si, exactamente. If he even saw a balloon in the first place. I do not like the sound of it. It is very bad for business. I have a good mind to sue the land of Bohemia. If you attack us, we will fight back. It will be war, all out of war.
What happened to all-out war?
Mr. Loon certainly doesn't appear to be lying.
But that doesn't change the fact that the testimony and evidence are contradictory here.
If the defense is unable to find fault with the witness's statements, the court must consider them the truth. Think long and hard on that, my learned friend. The situation has clearly changed now. I have to get to the bottom of what happened here, no matter what it takes.
Counsel, you may now cross-examine the witnesses.
With pleasure. As I said, Balthazar Loon is no liar. Every balloon I had in the sky landed safely.
Hold it!
You couldn't just have forgotten one, maybe. Signor, I might not notice if I was given 100 lentils and one was missing. But we are talking about 3 enormous balloons. Do you believe I could make a mistake about something so grand and expensive? I took the liberty of having Inspector Gregson check this gentleman's warehouse. I have the report here. It clearly says a total of 3 balloons.
It would appear no mistake has been made then.
Surely Miss Lestrade could have been sent for such a menial task. What? Me? I'll tell you what I told the boss. East End kids like me can only count up to 2. Obviously that ain't true, but the boss bought it and said he'd have it to go himself in that case. All 3 of my balloons were carrying passengers. If they fell to the ground in an esplosione, what a catastrophe!
Hold it!
It would be quite a catastrophe if they fell to the ground for any reason, I think. On that note, Mr. Loon, tell me, what is it that keeps these balloons in the sky? Are you an idiota? Sorry? That is like asking, why does a candle burn bright? It burns bright because it burns bright, and a balloon flies because it flies. What else?
That must be Italian for I don't know. There are two types of flying balloons, hot air balloons and gas balloons. Hot air balloons work on the principle of hot air being less dense than cold air, whereas gas balloons derive their lift by using a gas that is lighter than air. See, and my balloons are filled with the magic gas, I believe. Oh, brother, more gas problems. Hydrogen, lighter than air but highly explosive. Good lord! I do not permit smoking of the cigarettes in any of my balloons. The magic gas does not like fire. Even a small spark of static electricity could cause the entire balloon to explode. What is the matter with you, Signor? All that comes out of your mouth is esplosione, esplosione. I tell you, my balloons are perfectly safe, and they have to be, or I cannot eat. None of my balloons exploded that day, I am completely sure. But if you still say that is what happened, you must show me the proof. Alright, so Mr. Loon had 3 balloons in the air that day. If none of them were damaged, then what was the one that exploded? But you can't get away from the fact that a burnt-up bit of cloth was found at the scene, can ya?
Hold it!
I was surprised to find the piece of fabric still at the scene, actually. Didn't you search the area surrounding the stage for clues? Nah, I'm not into picking stuff up off the ground, me. Always works out way better, diving into people's pockets instead. So much for the new career path. Mind you, the boss was on his hands and knees picking up all kinds of rubbish from the floor. Thing is, though, the cage went crashing into the crystal tower, didn't it? So that's where most of the investigating was going on. Even so, I would have thought someone from Scotland Yard would have gathered it up as evidence. Cor, listen to ya. You stumble across a bit of balloon and suddenly you're the best investigator in the world. Pardon? You ain't got a badge, have ya? Like this one. I could arrest you with this if I wanted to. I wouldn't put it past her. Come to think of it, there was talk of some scorching on the ground at a meeting we had about the investigation. The coppers at the yard reckoned it was probably some debris thrown from the explosion on the stage.
Hold it!
There was considerable damage to the stage and surrounding area, wasn't there? Yeah, some of the coves what were watching the experiment were caught in the blast and injured. Good job the old contraption didn't keel over, eh? I hadn't even considered that. It seems there was great panic after the incident occurred. Nevertheless, the police shouldn't have missed a torn piece of the envelope from a balloon. Inspector Gregson can expect repercussions. Like me swiping all his fish and chips, eh? The man's sole pleasure. No, probably cod pleasure. Or halibut pleasure, not soul. None of this matters. That scrap of balloon envelope means nothing. Niente. This stupido ragazzo is mistaken. My balloons have the red and blue zigzag stripes anyway.
Hold it!
You mean the color is wrong? Si, senor. I do not have any green balloons in my warehouse. And yet a piece of green cloth was found at the scene, and it's unmistakably from a balloon. Well, I do not know how that can be. For the sake of argument, let's say that a green balloon did explode above the stage. You couldn't therefore conclude that it happened on the day in question. Why not? There have been recreational balloon flights over Hyde Park operating from before the Great Exhibition. One could have exploded on some earlier date, Unfortunate, as I'm sure you would agree. You believe it may have been from some earlier balloon accident that predates the exhibition? Si, exactamente. As the Signor says, it is not from one of my balloons. Clearly, this little ragazzo from Bohemia is mistaken about what he saw. Oh, this will be good.
Excuse me.
Ragazzo means boy. Is something the matter, Master Gotts?
It's Master Wilhelm Gottsreich Sigismund Ormstein.
It was on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, something is very wrong. I know what I saw. There was a green balloon there. I swear it. I swear all over Bohemia.
You can speak as much bad language as you like, but it changes nothing. If you do not have evidence, ragazzo, then I must tell your parents to punish you, eh? Perhaps we'll let the judge decide when it comes to punishments.
Evidence? What is this evidence?
To give a simple example, young man. A photograph, for instance. Some tangible proof of what you claim.
Well, why did you say so sooner? I have the photograph here.
Oh, good gracious. What?
I had not been up in the balloon for a little while, so I was very excited. I took lots and lots of photographs. Of the Crystal Tower, of the Bohemian exhibit, of the streets of London, of the hot eel cellar, the balloon.
And the instantaneous kinesis experiment? Did you take a picture of that?
Yeah, of one picture.
Really? You did take one?
But all I wanted was a ride in a balloon. I was not interested in boring experiments.
Never mind that. Can you show us that photograph?
Of course, and then you will see. You will see that I am not lying, that I really did see a green balloon.
Oh, it's in black and white.
Well, I see you are all too shocked to speak.
Yes, I think shocked is indeed the word, young man.
Yeah, perhaps you cannot see that was a green balloon from this photograph, but that is not my fault. That is the fault of the stupid person who made the camera. Wah! Wah!
That is one very bohemian-sounding cry.
Wah!
I sound like Mario falling to his doom. Very well. The court will accept this photograph as evidence. Huh. Okay. Let's take a closer look.
It's not my fault. It's the fault of the person who made the camera.
Well, never mind. I'm sure you have plenty of wonderful sepia moments to take home with you. In any case, when exactly did you take that photograph?
Well, it was on the day of the big explosion.
Okay, hold on. Now that music's kicked in. Okay. Where's Waldo? Let's see. Oh, there he is. Hi, Waldo. So one thing I'm noticing from this, photograph is that this balloon is completely empty. Not a soul is inside of it. And I have to wonder, What is this? It looks kind of like a ray of light, but there's something glinting, shooting upwards? And it looks like the smoke billowing out of the machine is coming out of pre-made tubes. Almost like it was planned for the man inside the birdcage to be obscured. It's just me, or does this look like it could open up? It looks like this bit can open up and drop down. It's definitely Professor Hairbrain. Yeah, I don't think I'm noticing anything else here. You don't say.
Then I pressed the shutter release. There was this very loud bang, and a hot wind rushed over my face.
That means this photograph was taken a split second before the explosion occurred. Indeed. I think we know what that flash of light is. It's something shooting up from the crowd straight into the balloon. Well, if you ask me, this black and white photograph changes nothing. I could not give the flying fig. Lovely language you've picked up. As I thought, Mr. Loon's testimony just doesn't quite add up. The young Bohemian boy claims to have seen another fourth balloon, but Mr. Loon vehemently denies the possibility. And it's hard to imagine the man in charge could be mistaken about the number that were in the air. Still, this inconsistency must tell us something, I'm sure. Alright. We need to show that photograph on something. Every balloon I had in the sky landed safely. All three of my balloons were carrying passengers. If they fell to the ground in an esplosione, what a catastrophe. Here we go, that's the one. Bambini. I need to look up what Bambini means. Do you think that's where Bambi comes from? Like that deer movie from Disney? Actually, I think Bambi was a book beforehand. Yeah, I remember Lilo and Stitch was Disney's first original movie. Everything else has been adaptations. Right, what were we talking about? Oh, right. No passengers to be found here, good sir.
Objection!
Unfortunately, the photograph Master Gotts took can't tell us the color of the balloon. But it can tell us something else, something crucially important. What? It shows that the pictured balloon wasn't carrying any passengers. Oh, my goodness, you're right. But surely all the balloons would have been carrying passengers. There would be no sense in it otherwise. See, they are for pleasure, for seeing the view. My balloons only fly with passengers. Which tells us that the pictured balloon isn't one of them. So when the incident occurred that day, there was a fourth balloon in the skies above the experimentation stage. The mysterious green balloon. I know nothing, niente. I can only tell you one thing. If this balloon was not carrying passengers, then it was not one of mine. Oh, that balloon's looking like it's gonna pop. There are illegal tradesmen everywhere you care to look. Clearly, one such entrepreneur decided to capitalize on the opportunity presented by the Great Exhibition, and managed to operate balloon flights on Mr. Loon's patch without him realizing. See! The competizione, trying to steal my profits! I did not notice because of the esperimento that went wrong on the stage. This fourth balloon exploded the very same moment Mr. Stinky was beamed from the stage below. Right, so them scraps that fell to the ground after and left them scorch marks, they didn't come from the stage at all. It was bits of the balloon raining down. But 'cause no one was in it, it didn't get no attention. A mysterious fourth balloon carrying no passengers, silently floating over the experimentation stage.
Objection!
This photograph shows us nothing more. A stray balloon carrying no one and operated by some rogue traitor. Clearly it has nothing to do with the case. Its relevance does elude me, I must say. The court has seen sufficient evidence and heard ample testimony already. The prosecution calls for this trial to be concluded. Boy, that child must have the corniest of poops. Man. Really? Have we really got to the truth yet? No, I can't let this opportunity slip away. The jurors' minds are made up, and not in our favor. What else can this photograph tell us? Is there nothing more we can learn from it? There's way more.
Objection!
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, wait. Please don't give your decisions yet. The photograph from Master Gotts may well be hiding one more vital clue. What's that? Oh, that's terrifying. A vital clue?
Objection!
We're well past the point of mere possibilities. It's time for definitives now, so tell the court. What exactly does this alleged clue in the photograph prove? The cause of the explosion. We can reasonably assume that the pictured balloon was destroyed in the searing heat of the explosion. Yeah, that's right, yeah. It was not my fault. Oh, I need to pitch up a few octaves.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was not my fault.
There we go. Evidently. Because the bird cage from the kinesis machine materialized in the sky where it had been flying. And the balloon, being filled with flammable hydrogen, instantly and explosively ignited.
Objection!
No, that's not what happened. What? It would appear that this photograph requires closer examination. Counsel for the defense, you will highlight the location of this alleged clue in the photograph for the court. Of course, my lord. If you look closely, it's plain enough to see. And what's shown is linked to another piece of evidence we have. In a way that leads to an unbelievable conclusion. The clue that heavily suggests the real reason the balloon exploded is... right here. Right here.
Take that!
The timing of this photograph can only be described as miraculous. If you look, you'll notice there's a bright white line that appears to point directly at the balloon. Most likely a ray of light caught incidentally on the film. I'm afraid I can see nothing of the sort. If you look with a magnifying glass, my lord, it becomes clear what the nature of this bright line really is. Goodness, what is that? Undeniably some flash of light, yes. Oh,
golly, do you think it might be lightning?
But it couldn't have been a finer day.
I believe we may be looking at fire.
A bolt of fire heading straight for the balloon, like an arrow. Indeed, even to my aging eyes, it would appear to be a flame of some sort. My word, are you suggesting that flame struck the hydrogen gas that filled the balloon?
Objection!
That's absurd. The balloon would have been 60 feet above the ground at the time. No flame could possibly have reached such a height.
Objection!
Actually, it's my opinion that a particular piece of evidence found at the scene reveals how that is exactly what did happen. What evidence?
If such evidence exists, Counsel, then for goodness' sake present it, man. Which evidence explains this mysterious streak of flame that appears to be headed directly for the balloon?
There it is, the crossbow.
Take that!
This was found hidden at the foot of a small ornamental tree near the scene.
Good lord, is that a crossbow?
An arrow dipped in oil and set alight could have been shot from this weapon, sending the flaming arrow straight into the hydrogen-filled balloon. Are you suggesting that crossbow was used to deliberately... Blimey, you're right! That streak of light in the photo looks just like an arrow, doesn't it? Then, the esplosione of the balloon was... very likely the result of a flaming arrow from this crossbow igniting the hydrogen gas inside it. No! I don't see that animation often.
Ordar? Ordar! Counsel, this is an extraordinary supposition.
If the aim was to cause the balloon to explode, the shooter could have used a gun, of course. However, there's an obvious reason why that would have been out of the question. The noise of the discharge, of course. That's right. By using a crossbow, the projectile could be fired at the balloon silently. Well, yeah, if someone had shot a gun off in the exhibition grounds, it would have caused a real panic. But with the big esplosione, there was a very big panic anyway, no? I don't like this. I should be pleased to have found a plausible new explanation for all this, but something feels wrong.
Objection!
Do you understand the implications of what you're saying, my Nipponese friend? If a flaming arrow did indeed hit the balloon, then obviously it would have exploded. And if the birdcage appeared from the cloud of smoke that ensued... What? Wait a minute, what are you really saying here? I don't get it. Was the birdcage beamed up into the sky after all, or what?
My goodness me.
Ah, now I understand. That's what the sinking feeling is about. I think there's a good chance that the birdcage was actually concealed inside the balloon all along.
What? Did I just hear that correctly, Counsel?
There's no going back now. The horse is bolted. Let's assume, as I said, that the birdcage was hidden inside the green balloon from the start. On stage, when the experiment was started, the birdcage and the instantaneous kinesis machine disappeared in a cloud of smoke. At that moment, the flaming arrow was fired from the ground, causing the green balloon to explode and drawing the attention of the spectators to the sky above their heads. From amid the smoke, the hidden birdcage then appeared, to fall down and crash into the crystal tower.
I think you'll all agree it's entirely plausible that what I've just described is the real truth behind the miraculous experiment carried out that day. Good grief.
Objection!
This is ludicrous. What you've described is no science experiment. It's child's play, a contemptible display of stage magic. Both Mr. Sholmes and Iris said that the experiment was a scientific impossibility, in which case this is the only way to explain what happened that day. And in any case, the victim's body was found inside the birdcage in the Crystal Tower. If the instantaneous kinesis didn't take place, how do you explain that? If I may put in a word as a man of magic myself, such apparent discrepancies can easily be explained by some simple deception. Juror number 3. All that would be needed is a doppelganger, someone who looked very similar to the victim, Mr. Stinky. And having this other man appear on stage in front of the show, to front the show, as a body double. Ah, yes, of course. So, in fact, Mr. Stinky must have been inside the birdcage that was concealed inside the balloon right from the start.
Objection!
That balloon would have been filled with hydrogen. Anything hidden inside it would have been scattered to the 4 winds when it exploded. No one would ever have embarked on such a risky venture. Not necessarily. The explosive force of the balloon gas would very much depend upon the mixture ratio. Juror number 4. Flying balloons are rarely filled with pure hydrogen, but a mixture of other gases such as helium as well. Helium on its own doesn't explode, but by controlling the gas mixture ratio, the explosive force can be altered. The mixture ratio. Obviously, the victim's body would have suffered some burns. That would be unavoidable. But not to such an extent as to render this whole obscene charade impossible. So everything that happened can be explained, logically and scientifically. The explosion that engulfed the stage at the start of the experiment was no accident. It was all part of an elaborate deception to make it appear that instantaneous kinesis had occurred. Okay, so, the entirety of the previous video I recorded was one big kerfuffle about believing in the science, and believing in Hairbrain, and believing that it was possible. And here we go saying that it was a sham, so what's the deal, Ryunosuke? Well, goodness me. And if we accept that this is what happened, it means that the victim, Mr. Stinky, was never present on the public experimentation stage to begin with. In short, he couldn't have been killed by the defendant, who was on stage in full view the entire time. Arg! This will be very hard for the prosecution to counter. Lord Van Zieks can't credibly maintain that Professor Hairbrain is a suspect now. Hold it? Oh, here we go. Mr. Naruhodo, I appreciate your efforts, thank you. Professor? But you can stop now. Just keep your mouth shut, please. Sorry? What's all this about, Mr. Hairbrain? I, Albert Hairbrain, hereby confess that it was me who stabbed Mr. Stinky. Oh, the migraine in my head. Ah! I have sympathy pain for Ryunosuke. Oh, for the love of... Okay. Well, here's as good a place as any to end things for now. Hairbrain, you fuck! Man. Oh, pain. So much pain. Well... I knew a wax figure figured into this somewhere, but... Well... Actually, it could just be an actual, body double. A living person, but no... The wax figures have to figure into it somehow. There's so much I don't know. I was gonna mention, Little Gots keeps releasing his balloons and they float up to the ceiling. I'm really hoping there's a part where it pans up and you can see a dozen strings hanging from the ceiling of the balloons. Nah, they're probably just lost to time. You know what would be funny though? If they all lost their helium and descended when the fireworks and confetti happened at the end of this case. That would be amazing. Could happen. Anyway, I would like to issue a formal apology to any Italians or Bohemians watching this video. I am butchering your language. I'm sorry. Well... I feel like this fight has just now begun. So we got quite the trip ahead of us. Oh. I did not look forward to this fight Ryunosuke has in front of him. Oh my god. I'm Zephyr the Jester. This has been more the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you next time. So until then, please take care.